Hello, everybody. It's Brian Glies with the Scott Insurance Agency. One of the questions that I get asked all the time is, hello, everybody. It's Brian Glies from the Scott Insurance Agency. One of the questions that comes into us all the time is how much coverage should my subcontractors carry? So we're going to spend a little bit of time on that today. On the screen is a sample subcontractor requirement. And this is what I would define as the minimum requirements that I would want your subcontractors to have. Depending on what you're doing and what your subcontractors are doing, your situation may be different and may require certain coverages that need to be changed from the script that I have on the screen. So please check with your broker for specifics. So number one, I always want some type of hold harmless agreement or indemnification agreement between your subcontractor and you. So it's identified on a legal document that your subcontractor will not hold you responsible in the event they have a claim that had no negligence on your behalf. The other thing that we want to do is to make sure that that subcontractor has a 30-day notice of cancellation. Some people think that's automatic. It's not. We want you to be notified if your subcontractor cancels their insurance, becomes delinquent on their insurance, or anything like that. So you've got a heads up so that you know that that subcontractor needs to get that stuff back in force. As far as general liability, some simple stuff, some insurance-y stuff, 1 million, 2 million limits. That's just really, it's just really the beginning of commercial insurance. If they don't have at least that level, they need to get up to that level. They need to list you as an additional insured on their policy. So you will give them your name and your address and tell them to go talk to their insurance agent and list you as an additional insured on the subcontractor's policy. That actually gives you a little bit of coverage on the subcontractor's policy, or I should say at least protection, so that you're listed on their policy so that their policy is going to be used first. These are coverage forms, very insurance-y stuff, very important stuff. The broker that your sub is using will know what those are. We want a waiver of subrogation on there, meaning that they, again, it's more or less a hold harmless, but they are waiving the right to subrogate or sue against you, the contractor. And we want that to be as primary and non-contributory. Again, the insurance broker will know where we're going there. On the commercial auto, I think it is important that they carry commercial auto insurance depending on what's going on. We want $1 million limit. You'll see some of the stuff is repeated. It'd be an additional insured on the commercial auto. Waiver of subrogation again. We want them to have hired and non-owned auto coverage. Hired and non-owned auto coverage has to do with if they have an employee that is running an errand for that subcontractor and they're using their personal vehicle, the personal vehicle that they own, and there's a claim, that will provide coverage. And it's one more step to keep you out of the line of fire at the time of a claim. Un- and underinsured motorist coverage at $1 million. And if necessary, there's an asterisk by this one, motor truck cargo coverage if they're hauling anything for you. You do want your subcontractors to carry workers' compensation or what's called occupational accident policy, one or the other. It's also called OCAC, but work comp is the most common, even if they have to do a ghost policy if it is a single-member LLC. We want their coverages to be at least 100, 500, 100, which is simple. That's the statutory required limits for the state. Waiver of subrogation. Waiver of subrogation is not always available in Missouri, so you may or may not be able to get that depending on where you're at. And then have them carry an excess liability or umbrella policy for $1 million that's primary and non-contributory. So I want this sheet to be able to be provided to a subcontractor. Subcontractor takes it to their insurance carrier. Their insurance carrier makes it happen. If the sub's insurance doesn't meet these requirements, it will cost the subcontractor some money to make these changes. How much? It all depends on how much or how little of this stuff that they already have on their policy. Why is this important? To put it as in simple terms as I can, if a lawsuit happens against your subcontractor, if you've done the things on these screens, you have limited severely the person who's waging the lawsuit's ability to bring your insurance into the lawsuit. Now, I know the subcontractor isn't your employee. They're not a W-2 employee. They're a 1099 employee for a reason, so that there's a separation. But there's lots of case laws out there that drag the contractor's insurance in when the subcontractor did the claim, even if the subcontractor had those insurances in force. So what this video is about is what coverage you need your subcontractors to have in order for you to have the best opportunity to survive claims as they happen. Some contractors will argue with me, well, I can't find a subcontractor with all of these requirements. Well, that's wrong. And if the subcontractor wants to do business with you, they'll get their requirements taken care of. I always tell my contractors, have the sub come have a conversation with me and we'll get them straightened out. So I hope this has helped. It's a question that comes up all the time. If you'd like a copy of this sample subcontractor requirement, just email me. There'll be a slide with all my contact information. My whole goal is to give you guys the best opportunity for success. And if you succeed, so do I. And that's where we roll. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust. This is Brian Gleiss from the Scott Agency. Bye-bye.